Okay, that's it. Now it's time. Qigong time. Diane Qigong. Hello, Mom. Hello, Miles. I hope everybody's ready to get goosey. Wild goosey. We're gonna do some warm-ups. We're gonna do some movement details. We're going to do the whole set. Today my hair is being kind of wild goosey. Just on its own. Or is it my cheek?
Jordan has been like this all day.
Derp is here.
We go to meetings like this. Hair, like a signal, like a tentacle.
All the thoughts in my head are pushing my hair out at strange angles. Sound effects are optional. Waist rotations.
Man.
Yes, you are. Massaging Huan Tiao and lower back, upper butt, other direction. Whatever direction you were going before, this time, go opposite of that. Very definition of other.
Sometimes Jordan don't. He doesn't remember what direction he was doing before.
If you don't remember what direction you did before,
start over.
That's okay. Just do whatever direction you feel like you need. Maybe you need more of that direction this day.
How about start over?
You can start over too. But if you start over, there's always the risk of doing more in one direction than the other. But just like if you forgot and wind up doing the same direction twice, it's not necessarily anything bad about doing it in the same direction more than another. Sometimes you need it. Massaging the kneecaps. Other direction. Or if you feel like it, the same direction.
Or start over.
Or start over. When you start over, you can start over with the movement you're currently doing. You can start over with the warm-ups. You can
start over with the direction. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Somebody when they counted to 4, they forgot 5. They need to start 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's 5. It's part of the meditation. When
counting.
I first, when I first start meditating, I thought that's one movement. I did this.
It's movement.
You need to start over. The teacher said, just count your breath from 1 to 100. Guess what? It's kind of difficult. It's easy to get distracted and then you forget where you are.
And then you start over.
Mhm.
Round of kicks, heels first. I guess in Qigong, starting over would be like the initial posture, zeroing out. That would be the beginning, which is also the end. I think if lose concentration during the warm-ups or form, always comes back to the tongue, resting on the palate. Who's ready for chin to toe? Yay! Reaching 10 fingers. Massage. Right down the leg. Other side. Six fingers. 2 fingers. Grasping toes. Massage. Pat. Your fingers. Two fingers. Grasping toe. Massage. Okay. I need to go back on the way up. Another set of kicks with the heels. Take them with the toes. Pass them over.
Press on the mover.
Okay. Palms point towards the ears. In today's movements, we do a lot of pointing of the palms. Relax. Other side.
Okay to your face.
It's the slapping massage. Relax. Relax and slapping the shoulders and under the armpit. Or into the armpit. I think we did too many of those. Some days you need it. Windmill maneuver. Then I have the heels. Just like geese.
Look at, is that a geese?
Mm-hmm.
The angry one.
That's kind of how geese tend to be. And massaging the shu kidney points. Not actually kidneys, you're not massaging the kidneys themselves, just the shu kidney points. Circles. Wow. Or lymph nodes.
Do you know what that about means?
You're gonna have to tell me.
There's different way of using Dabao.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be a brand for Dabao. It's a cosmetic brand. So we say it's a very famous one. Dabao 天天见. You say everybody should have this brand for their face and use it every day. So Dabao used to be a brand. That's how Dabao is it's used in daily life. Da means big, Bao is baby. So big baby. Dabao can be a name. If you have first a kid, you name it Dabao. You have the second kid, you name it Xiaobao, small baby. Da Xiao. So.
Dabao.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what's the medical name for Dabao. But it
Your
can,
big baby point.
yeah, it can. Bao is also a treasure, right? Baby is a treasure. So could mean this area is all of the treasure, is all the good stuff here.
Mm-hmm. Well, the lower dantian is the prenatal chi, so it's the chi that you're born with. Kind of like how babies are young, I guess. Then that energy is young. And maybe that's the Bao treasure part.
Huh.
Or maybe people just look like big babies when they're rubbing their sides.
Oh no, I don't know most of the word. Dantian, upper dantian, laogong. Probably don't have, you can't interpret it words by words. Maybe.
Maybe you gotta get poetic with it.
No, it's just medical with it.
So if you don't do it word by word, how do you do it?
It's just like a gray. How do you explain gray? It's a name.
It's the lack of color, and it's exactly in between white and black.
Do you use gray to describe you?
Yes.
Are you lack of color, and it's a color between white and black?
That is a different gray.
So, a name is a name. A name just assigned to this thing. So you have a name.
But names.
You can also assign a color to this thing. So you have a color. But it's not a color, it's a name. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Wait, did we do this part yet? I can't remember.
Yes, we did.
How many?
You should start.
That a name is just a name, but all names come from somewhere. That's how etymology works. The study of the history of words and their parts.
Okay.
So gray actually comes from graylactic, like supergalactic.
I was just saying, for nowadays, you don't trace back because through the use, it's generate the new meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And when you had a famous gray, then that, it's gonna define the word gray. It all depends. Like nowadays, if you are saying abstain, what is abstain? It's
A
defined by
conspiracy theory.
stuff. Yeah. Exactly. So sometimes the object can reverse to define the name, like apple.
Which came
Nose?
which came first, the apple or the Mac?
I'm talking about apple.
Mm-hmm.
Lingo in Japanese.
Lingo?
It's an apple. It's a fruit.
Oh.
Oh. See? Now when you hear about apple, you don't think of the fruit anymore. You think of something else. Depends on how popular that thing is. It will change the meaning of this word. So maybe you can define gray. Still have a lot of time. You can be the most notorious.
I guess since I don't know of any notorious grays, that would be pretty easy.
Yeah.
So you've got this example of an apple that's not a fruit, but somebody had to put the label of apple on the thing that wasn't a fruit. So is it really the object naming the name? If somebody had to put the name on it first?
I was saying the meaning of that word will change or redefined by the object or by the person who was named, who was originally assigned to it. So when we talk about the vowel, it's hard for us, if there's no document, it's hard for us to trace back what's the original meaning of that vowel. Because it's being used as, cosmetic. When now if you ask a Chinese about it, everybody gonna, it's so prevalent, like famous that pay.
Oh, Dorian Gray. Dorian Gray. Miles came up with Dorian Gray. That's a pretty notorious gray.
What did that person do?
It's literature. I can't remember exactly the story, but I feel like Dorian Gray was maybe a narcissistic character or something like that. I'm gonna have to look this up. Get my Gray history on par. You say that there's not any documents, but the Yellow Emperor's Classic, that's a pretty old book.
Well, I hasn't read that book. I never define there are documents, but it's not the data stored in me. The data I have is, the cosmetic. That's the generation I've. How I used the vowel.
Now every time
And
Miles shows a bow, it's gonna be a commercial for cosmetics.
And then, nevertheless, to say the loss in the translation. We have to translate it, and it's gonna lose so many meaning when it's translated, because so many culture cannot be translated.
Mm-hmm. Oscar Wilde and Dorian Gray. So there's another name, Wilde. Maybe that's how people decided that being wild means wild, because Oscar was so wild.
Oscar Wilde. Yes, that's a good name. He's still so modern. What's it? Modern, right? Modern. His thought is still modern, but nowadays.
How many hundred years ago was that? I don't know.
17th century? So 80 something, right? 200 years ago. Somebody should have meant. No. Only if he is still alive. And his words.
It's 200 years old. Maybe it's public domain by now, and you can do your own interpretation of the story.
But then it's not gonna be the legit NFT, because NFT has to be the creator who, made it.
It's like I felt like I had a shadow, but now I've got an orbiting bird. Okay, warm-up's complete. Plenty warm. And now we can go into some movement details. So last week we were trying to cover off on both the grasping of chi and massaging the ball. That was too much. Last week we got through the grasping chi. So both from down 10 times and then hand drops and up 10 times. And then that's as far as we got in last week's online lesson. And then in the park we wound up doing massage the ball. Guess that was foreshadowing. But for massaging the ball, what we do is from grasping chi, the fingers open up, and they were sitting underneath the collarbone, so they open up, and then as the hands pass the face, they're facing the face. Then as the hands come up over the head, they turn to each other, and the gaze goes up and along with the hands. And then the hands open up.
Then where is your gaze?
The gaze is still up, and then
so your gaze have to follow one.
Yeah, your eyes have to go both directions. And then you can act. Well, it depends on the peripheral vision, because if the hands are in the peripheral vision, then your eyes can still look straight forward. And then as you fold over, the arms come a little bit closer together so that there's a sense of holding a ball, cradling chi in your arms, and really cradling it with upper dantian. The ball is huge, so I guess it's really part of like upper dantian, lower dantian, and middle dantian. I kind of feel it the most in middle dantian. And it comes over to the side, to the left side. And the right hand comes up on top of the left hand. And let's not worry about the knees quite yet, because that's additional detail. Let's focus on the hands. There's a lot to focus on with the hands. So we massage 10 times from the left to the right. And from when we were down, we come up a little bit so that we're not bent over all the way, and also so that the hands are aligned into lower dantian while we're massaging. That's the intent, is to always be massaging in towards lower dantian. And the elbows are moving, the shoulders are moving, the wrists are moving, and the hands are staying together. As if there was a ball in between them.
We were massaging it at your lower dantian area.
Yep, towards lower dantian, and always watching the ball as you massage it. Now once you get to the right side, the ball flips over so the left hand is on top. Then massage 8 times the other direction. Then massage 2 times into the start, into the front. And then the hands rest on lower dantian. And what happens with the legs as you're going back and forth is when you're on the left side, probably your left leg is straight and your right leg is bent. And then as you get to the middle, both knees are slightly bent, but neither one is locked. And then as you come to the right leg is straight, left leg is bent. And as you move your hips to go to the left and right, the legs kind of do that automatically, mechanically. So it doesn't take a lot of thought to make that happen, usually. You can play around with not bending a leg or keeping the legs fairly static. See how that feels. That's another variation that you can do. You want to demonstrate it?
Is it cold?
It closed.
Okay.
So we're starting it. We just did grasping chi palms up and
then open up.
Mhm.
When you pass your face, it's facing your face. Your eye, look at it. Follow. Now open up. And then bend over.
And then it comes over to the left side.
The left
And the
side.
right hand is on top of the left hand. And then massage in towards lower dantian, watching the ball as you massage it. And that happens, massage it back 8 times. And you massage it to the center. Then you rest the hands lower dantian. And the hands don't actually touch the body, they're like maybe an inch, half an inch away from the body at lower dantian. Very nice. There was one thing I noticed while you were doing it is you were shifting your feet around while you were going from left to right. And the intent is for them to stay parallel with each other, and the knees can bend and the legs can straighten, but you don't need to move the feet around. It's extra effort to move the feet around. You don't need to do that. Or you could do a variation where you move the feet around. Well,
Depends how much I love extra effort.
it depends on how much extra effort. Okay. Any questions? Any thoughts?
Well, I think when we did this in the park, feel like previously I thought this movement is, I felt good if it's like very big
Mm-hmm.
and it's engaged with my shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's not, right? It's meant to be, so it's a subtle movement, not too much of the shoulder, right?
Well, you say that, but even as you say that, I do see your shoulder moving.
But that's not noticeable.
But I didn't notice it.
I can't notice it because it's my body.
I see. Well, you may come to notice it in time. But another thought with that of the how big the movement is can also be affected by how big it feels. Like normally they'll say like 7 inches between the hands, but you have to play around with that of okay, do my hands feel connected at 7 inches apart, or do they feel better at 3 inches apart, 4 inches, like maybe 12 inches, maybe 2 feet? It's up to you where that connection point, the sensitivity to the connection between your hands is. So if you want it to be really big,
And
you can still do it quite big, but the idea is that the hands are connected regardless of how big you make the circle. Your hands are connected.
talking about if you move big, then it's gonna lose the connection.
Well, you can actually move your.
Like it's not connected right now, see, because it's too big. Oh,
You're right.
like,
It didn't look like your hands were connected. But if you have your hands connected, you can really move your shoulders around quite a bit.
I start that.
Yes, we can. Okay. Why don't we do 3 bows? Thanking each other for coming together. Thanking the teachers. And sending good energy out into the world to anybody that needs it.
Nature.
Nature sure needs it. Oh boy, does nature need it. Boiling all these lakes with bitcoins. Oh.
It's an extra effort.
That is extra effort. Assume. What do you call it? Starting over? Yeah, it's a start over. So this is the start over position.
If you already forgot what is called for starting over by the starting position, you are in a very poor position, I have to say.
I like to call that the beginner's mind. Tongue touching lightly, back way open to the sky, feet sinking into the ground. And begin.
You forgot how many?
Okay. Okay. Ray. Thanks for practicing. Guess hopefully see Miles on Saturday. And see everybody else on the internet next week. All right.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.